Hello, I'm going to try something a little different today and do a vlog style video. So what I'm starting the day off with now is I'm going to wash out our trailer and stain it. We use this to haul compost up to put on our garden beds. And it's been a couple years and I've never stained it. And to keep it from rotting out, I'm going to put some eco stain on it. Eco stain? I can't remember what it's called. I'll show you the box. Here's the eco wood treatment that I'm going to use on the trailer. But before I do that, I've got to hose it out and let it dry because I'm going to need another load of compost here in the next couple of days. It is quite a cold and frosty morning, so it's not my favorite time to be getting the hose out and washing stuff down, but it needs to be done. So here we go. So unfortunately, I've already run into the first problem of the day. I was hoping to get this hosed out before I take our pets to a vet appointment, but my son left the valve closed on the hose and left it attached to the spigot, so it's full of frozen water. And we had just repaired all of the hoses day before yesterday. So I'm not going to be able to do this chore before going to the vet with the dog and the cat. So that already puts me a little bit behind for the day. So hopefully when I come back, it'll be warm enough that the hose will have thawed, and hopefully it doesn't have any more holes in it. But on the plus side, I am caught up with everything that's supposed to be in the garden right now. I've got my pea trellises up, and over here I've got my carrots started, and there's a good number of them already popping up here in this bed, so they'll need to be thinned out, and then some starting to come up in this bed too. So got 2 beds of onions. I'm starting these from sets, which I've had good luck with in the past, but they can be kind of hit or miss. This one's already starting. But we did have a decent frost last night, so we'll see if that has any impact on how these do. The asparagus. Let me show you the asparagus. It's been popping up like crazy. So much so that we already have some that are about 5 feet tall. So for breakfast this morning, I'm having a piece of homemade sourdough bread, which I overproofed. I've been experimenting with making bigger batches of sourdough because making 1 loaf at a time is not time efficient. So I made 10 loaves at a time, and only one of them really rose nicely. It still tastes really good, but it's definitely overproofed and ended up a little bit flat, but has a good texture otherwise. Not too dense or anything. So if anybody has any recommendations on how to make big batches of bread, especially sourdough bread, I would really appreciate any links or information you have. While I'm having my breakfast, I'm out here checking on my seed trays. This is honestly the whole reason we built the sunroom. It was just supposed to be a little room that I had enough south-facing windows to start seeds in so they wouldn't get leggy, which by the way has worked out great. I'm not experiencing much legginess in my seedlings as opposed to when they were in the west-facing window. They got really, really leggy. So this is working great. No supplemental light. I've got red leaf lettuce. I've got cabbage. My cabbage is down here. I've got Brussels sprouts, tomatoes, cauliflower, broccoli, and over here I have some flowers. They're going to be forget-me-nots and petunias. That'll go in the hanging basket. And I have some artichokes, and then tomatoes and peppers down here. And I have a bunch more seeds that I'm going to start in the next week. Basil, and then all of my plants that'll be in the cucurbit family. So cucumbers, squash, pumpkins, watermelon, stuff like that. I also ordered more seed flats today because these are over 10 years old, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think they would be 11 years old this year. So I ordered a few more from Johnny's Seeds, just the thin-walled ones. So we'll see how those hold up. And it'll be time to transplant a lot of these out. It should have been time to transplant them out this week, but we were expecting frosts, as you saw this morning. The hose was frozen and all of that, so I didn't want to risk putting these out in the garden while we were expecting some potential hard freezes. Because even though it says that we're in zone 6B here, we're at a much higher elevation than the town that we live in. So because of that higher elevation, I've noticed that the flowers and plants that we have up here will bloom about 2 weeks later than the flowers at the bottom of the mountain and down in the valley. So I'm just going to treat it like we're somewhere between zone 6B and 5A on my planting schedule. And hopefully that will keep us from losing any of our seedlings that we put out. But these guys are already hardened off. I put them out during the day and overnight when it's not going to freeze. So as soon as the weather gets warmer, they'll be ready to go. One of the other chores I'm going to do this morning is feed Mary Shelley, our turtle, or just Shelley for short. Here you go, dear. No, not my hand. Not my hand. Get your ball. Well, I got the animals in the truck, and the cat hates it, and the dog is so excited she doesn't know what to do with herself. So we're running the full spectrum of emotions here. I don't think Tallulah's going to be too excited when we get to the vet's office, but they're just going for a well visit today. I just got Miss Sprite and Tallulah back from the vet, and they're doing well. This cat is around 19 years old, and she's in nearly perfect health. The only thing that was a little bit off was her kidneys, and they were just very, very slightly off. So she's doing really well. And then Miss Tallulah had perfect labs. None of her lab work came back bad at all. And she is 13 years old, so we're doing great. That's a load off. I'm going to get the hose set back up and see if it is thawed. It's about in the 50s now. When I tried it this morning, it was in the 30s still. So we'll see if there's any leaks anywhere. I hope there's not, because we just patched all of them. And there's no leaks anywhere. Yay! We got really lucky this time. So I've got to make sure I start checking that every night when I go to lock up the animals. So now I just got to get this thing hosed off the best I can, let it dry, and then I can seal it. And hopefully it'll make that wood last a lot longer since it sits outside all the time. And there we go. Got it cleaned out. So now just let it dry and then I can stain it. And in the meantime, I've got to go to the grocery store. But before I go to the grocery store, I'm going to have a snack. And I'm having a yogurt parfait with granola and homemade yogurt. Now, the milk that I used to make this yogurt came from the cows that I got to help milk up at Triple E Farms in Romney, which is where I'm doing an internship. So I got to meet all of the cows that the milk came from to make this yogurt. Now I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm home from the grocery store, and now the next thing on the to-do list is to figure out what to do with the plants that I dug out of the nursery bed. I have echinacea, and I have some iris leaves that I was going to try weaving into a basket just for the heck of it. So really the echinacea or purple coneflower is what I want to figure out where to plant because it's doing really well here. So I have these 4 bigger clumps of echinacea and 1 little one. This one must have just started growing at the end of last season. And these are a couple years old, the bigger ones. So I think this one's big enough that I could actually divide it a couple times, but I don't know if I want to go through the trouble of doing that yet. So this area in front of the addition could use some landscaping. So I think I might plant a couple beneath the deck here. So kind of between these posts right here and then on the symmetrical side over there. Because those coneflowers get to be about 6 feet tall when they're in bloom. So it'll fill in that space really nicely. Since I'm in the barn to get the tractor, I thought I'd check on the little babies. My oldest son wanted a pet, and we happened to be at Tractor Supply and saw that they had guinea fowl and they had bantam chicks. So I told him he could get a few, and he's going to raise them as pets. I told him the guineas would stay pretty wild. I didn't have good luck raising them myself, but he gets to spend a little bit more one-on-one time with them, so maybe they'll do better for him. Well, I just got some good news. It turns out we were approved for the Family Forestry Carbon Plan. I hope I got that acronym right. FFCP or PC? I don't know. But it's a carbon plan that we enroll our forested land in, and we get paid to participate in it. And in that process, the program also helps us utilize our forest in a carbon-friendly way. So we can still get firewood out of it if we need to. It's several cords of wood a year that we can collect from our woodland. And we can also still do like forest farming on it. It just basically says that we're promising to not clear cut the land, which we never had any intention of doing. And we'll also be able to manage our land in a more carbon-centric way, or carbon sequestration-centric way. That was a mouthful. But one of our goals with this land that we have here, whether it stays a homestead or if it becomes a like full-blown farm, is to focus on carbon sequestration. So farming or homesteading in a way that is going to take carbon from the atmosphere and put it back into the soil, which has a lot of benefits for a farmer. It improves soil fertility and, just makes it so you can grow stuff without having to buy fertilizer all the time. You're taking what's naturally in the air, in the atmosphere, and putting it into the ground, which also has a positive impact on climate change. I mean, probably not on our scale. We only have 93 acres, and the atmosphere is a pretty big place. But, I'd like us to do what we can with the land that we have. So it's pretty exciting. I did end up dividing the echinacea that I had, the really big one. So half of it went here, and the other half is right here. Now that I've got 2 of the echinacea planted by the deck, and the rest of them are in the sunroom, sitting in the sink, they were watered, it's time for me to go pick up the kids from the bus stop. I also adopted a couple of plants while I was at the grocery store. I found this beautiful begonia, as well as this gardenia. These don't do well outside here, so this is going to be a sunroom plant over the winter, but oh my gosh, it smells so good, and I love their beautiful white flowers. Got a few minutes before I gotta take the kids to gymnastics, so I thought I'd practice the banjo, but I broke my banjo picking nail. What's the matter, Jack?
Won't stop bothering me when I just said stop bothering me.
Oh.
We're talking about me in action. That's a strong candle. What did you say about me in action?
He said you guys were picking on him.
with him. I broke it. I broke it. We were playing with it, not picking on it.
You did break it. You did in fact break it. Can you go put it in the trash now?
I wish that candle thing still works. Like that. Let's see. Oh, hi.
What's that?
Will this come out?
Yeah, it'll come out. You can take it out and throw it away too, because it's also broken.
Can't. I remember one year.
No, get off the tricycle. You're not going to ride a tricycle down the stairs. That's a bad idea. That is a way to get very injured. So we're not going to ride a tricycle down the stairs. I would prefer that you don't push the tricycle down the stairs empty either. Okay? Because then that's a good way to break the stairs. I just nailed it earlier today before I broke my nails.
Okay, so Remy, we got the whole thing. So I have to be a person that wants to kill you, and then I pretend to get shot to the wall.
No, we're not gonna do any pretend killing.
Dance.
Everybody, get ready for gymnastics. I have a little bit of the Eco Wood treatment mixed up from a couple days ago when I stained the goat stanchion. So I'm going to use what's left first to stain the trailer. And it's really thin and watery, and it just kind of changes everything to like a grayish color, which who knows what color it's going to turn out on this because it's stained from the compost that we haul in it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this done. I've actually got to mix up some more of the Eco treatment. I'm probably going to do 2 more gallons, and stuff's pretty easy to mix. I'm going to do 2 ounces of the powder that came in that box. I'm going to mix the 2 ounces of powder with 2 gallons of water. And that's really easy. Super easy ratio to remember, 1 ounce to 1 gallon. There we go, just mix it up. Dissolves pretty quickly, and then I'll be ready to roll, literally. And voila, it's done. And that only took about 20-30 minutes. 30 minutes, as you can see, it's already starting to dry at the first part that I did, which is great because that means you can put it on and it dries fast before it gets rained on, which in the spring here it rains on and off a lot, so I think we'll be okay. Also, I re-dyed my hair. Let's just take a second to appreciate this beautiful view. This is what I get to look at while I'm painting my trailer. I love where I live.